What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm gonna give you guys a fairly highly requested video to kind of cap off this series here about my Open Championships Arsenal building. I'm going to recap how the weekend went while it's still fairly fresh in my mind. As of filming today, we bowled like 3 days ago, so here we go. Let's dive right into it. Starting with the team event, definitely significantly harder than the minors, which is also known as doubles and singles pattern, the shorter of the two. If I had to guess, I'm not really good at guessing any of these kind of things, but it's probably about 40, anywhere between 39 and 41. Fairly flat in the middle. They're certainly playable if you do have a team that knows how to develop the lane properly. Me, myself, this year and the past few years as well, just kind of bowled some of my buddies who aren't super serious bowlers, so lanes didn't develop very well. And also the murmurs about the topography, I think, may be true, but the rumors or the murmurs are only a thing because they actually released the graphs super early when they put the convention center together. So it just kind of gives some people things to talk about. When you don't see those things, I think people just maybe assume that the lanes are hard, or they develop their own different opinions. But when there's something to blame it on, there's something tangible for people to blame it on. So the pair I caught in team event, I don't know if I want to list the actual pair, but definitely topographically interesting. So our right lane was incredibly tight. If the ball got going to the right and you didn't either roll it enough or you weren't throwing a strong enough ball, it stayed there. The left lane definitely struggled to get it through the front and middle part of the lane. It hooked significantly earlier. By the end of the night, I was playing the lanes about 10 different. On the right lane, really trying to firm roll it, not get it to the right. On the left lane, really had to try and shape it. As far as bowling balls are concerned, which is probably what you guys are here for, definitely some adjustments I could have made to the arsenal, which there always are when it comes to Open Championships. It's just one of those things where it's a really big guess what you bring out there, and you kind of just have to make it work. Team event, I did not. I bowled 546, and unfortunately, I was the high man on the pair. Urethane, the way I tried to throw urethane is not in play. If you're gonna go with urethane, I think you gotta try and shape more of the track. That's what Darren was doing on a different pair. Chris, I think, did some of that as well. So if you try and go up and at them, right a 5, it's not really there. It actually is kind of cliffed if you get close to the gutter. Like the one board hooks a ton, and then 2, 3 doesn't hook quite as much. I definitely tried that the first half of the game. I got a couple to 1 and they struck, and I threw one into like 2, 3 and it missed the head pin right. So bailed out of that real quick. Went to the Ion Max, bailed out a really good 190 the first game, and then it was holding up on the lane that was tight because obviously Ion Max is my big ball, had some surface on it. It slowed down before it got to that spot that hung, but on the left lane, it hooked in the front, so I tried to chase it, create some angle, and just would not get through there. Went through my progression on that lane. Rockstar, still wouldn't get through there. Ended up all the way down to my ultimate record by the end of the block, actually on both lanes, which was very interesting. Did not see that coming, but I don't think it looked terrible. My rev rate's obviously a little bit higher than most people's, but I think the ball to bring, and this is for both patterns. I actually saw Jalen throwing it, and it rolled pretty good for him, although he shot 490 on my team as well. But like I said, our pair was a little bit tricky. The original Origin, I think, is the ball for Open Championships. It has that cleanliness because it is a little bit cleaner. You can even have it with a little bit of surface, but the combination of the cleaner surface prep with the stronger cover gets to push just enough and slow down in the middle, which I felt like is kind of what I was missing. My identity was just a little bit too quick. I tried to throw it once on the left lane, the one that hooked a little bit earlier, and I couldn't get through the middle part of the lane, and it was just too quick in the middle. Couldn't get it all the way there to the right, which is why I ended up in the ultimate record. It's the ball that pushed the best, and it wasn't too flippy off it. A lot of it was, I didn't have my best stuff that past weekend. Spine tilt was a little inconsistent. I got it dialed in a little bit for doubles and singles, but when they're hard and you're not tilting consistently, your ball won't enter the lane the way you want to, consistent enough to get to the break point the same way and to shape off of said break point the same way. So that's a little tidbit for you. Being able to launch the ball consistently is key, especially when they are very difficult. But I think for people who have teams that have a plan, know what they want to do, and can actually do it, you can develop the lane pretty well. If you want to beat up a spot to the right, you definitely could do that. Give yourself something to throw it at, or if you want to go on the other way, like Darren and Chris, they had, well, Darren's pair specifically, his team, they threw a good amount of urethane, stretched them a little bit more. Darren was turning like 470 until he had a bad last game, but obviously there's a little bit something there to develop a couple different ways, breaking them down to the right or just kind of duking it out and letting them stretch with the urethane. I think that's also a viable play as well. Other than that, I don't have a lot of good information team event. It just felt kind of like an anomaly pair. It wasn't very good, and then it developed even worse with all the people on the pair, so kind of unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. Next year with the rule change, our results I think will be a little bit different. We will actually have teams that are going to be fairly competitive, which is going to be nice. But moving on to minors, doubles and singles, a much easier lane condition, something a little more suited to my skill set. They feel pretty long. They give me like a 43, 44-ish vibe, but they play to the right, which is fantastic. If you're somebody who is either very forward with your hand, very good at playing to the right, and by right, I don't mean like second arrow, I mean like right, first arrow. They're very scoreable from the right. So I played fairly straight. I would say on the fresh, I was probably about 7 to 3, 4, 5, and it was pretty good. Chris and I were both on the same pair for minors. He was shaping it a little bit more because his rev rate's a little bit higher, and he was throwing a bigger core. He was throwing an S2, I was throwing the down Rockstar. He shaped it from probably about like 9, 10 out to the same spot. After 2 games, he had 511 and I had 480 something, so very playable from there. The only thing is, because they are so long and there is oil to the left, they cliff a little bit. Our left lane cliffed a lot faster. Again, it seemed like the common characteristic, I was talking to him as well about his team event pair, the right lane seemed to be tighter than the left lane. That was true in our minors pair as well. The left lane, that spot out about 3, 4, 5 got really hot. It cliffed really fast. The right lane didn't cliff until we got into singles, in my opinion at least. I kind of had that ball reaction where it blended off the cliff perfectly until it got 4 one shot the last game of singles. Personally, I bowled 1402 in my minor sets, so I ended up with 1948, which, you know, after a 540 kind of salvaged the all events there. But 710 in doubles, 692 in singles. So doubles, me and my partner, we ended up with 1280, so that's kind of okay. And then 692 kind of is what it is. All events is 1948. But I think it's, for minors, getting a ball that'll blend that cliff. If you are someone that's got a little bit more rev rate, if your rev rate's kind of moderate to low, you could probably just throw some kind of big asymmetric ball, or, you know, a big symmetric ball. And as long as you start far enough right, they're very easy. If you start more towards the middle part of the lane, I don't think they develop very good, and they're going to feel flatter than they actually are. Like anywhere right of like 5, anywhere right of 7 actually, there's a very nice kind of shape there. So utilize it while you can. Like I said, people who are very forward with their hand, like playing straight, I think you're going to have a field day early on. And then from there, it's managing the cliff. And honestly, as far as balls, I feel like, again, Origin I think would be really, very good. Jalen actually shot 1290 for his minors set, and he started striking when he went into the Origin. He ball changed to it. He threw like the back 5 one game, shot 260 the next game, and then 240 the game after that, and then they kind of blew up on him a little bit. But I feel like I could have honestly had a third strong symmetric ball. As you guys know, I brought the down Rockstar and the shiny-ish up Sublime. Both I used. I actually used the Rockstar for pretty much 5.5 games on the right lane, and the left lane probably about 4 games. But I feel like if I had a up strong symmetric ball that just had the regular dull surface on it, like if I had an up Rockstar as well with just the box surface on it, I think I could have picked up a few more pins. It probably would have read the lane and the cliff a little bit better, and I could have shaped it a little bit more. Chris ended up shaping it a little bit more than I did, albeit he didn't score as high as I did in minor. So I honestly feel like I could have just showed up with a different urethane ball. Probably should have brought the fast pitch to be able to shape it, but I had plans. I had delusions of grandeur, and they're called delusions for a reason. So a urethane ball, honestly, you don't need one. You don't need one, especially if you're not a high rev, you really don't need one. I wish I had a more shapeable big ball. With the layout I had on my Ion Max, it's a very straight layout. Got caught kind of in no man's land between that ball and the Rockstar. I think like if I had an Ion Max that had a 5-inch pin and a 5-inch mass, something a little bit more hookable, it would have been pretty good. Probably would have been better early on in minors as well, but I think in both sets it would have been good. And then I liked my down Rockstar. The Sublime Focus, it blended the clip really well at the end, and I bailed out a good 2-teen. I threw like the back 5 for it the last game. But like I said, I could have brought 3 strong symmetrics and it would have been pretty good. I think me getting into the alternate wrecker is kind of an anomaly. I don't think it's necessary. What they said is true. They're pretty slick, especially in doubles and singles. They're not actually that slick in team events, so they're only slick if you get it to the right too far. But you don't really need anything weak, just balls that slow down, that control the middle part of the lane. If you really wanted to, you probably could bring a Phase 2 Rockstar, Sublime Focus, all 3. Those are the kind of balls I think that do very well. I think Chris predominantly threw, when he didn't throw urethane, it was Rockstar. And then he threw a little bit of his Magic Hyrule Black Pearl. Darren was a little bit all over the place. He went pitch black. He shot 770 in doubles, and he threw the Rockstar, I believe, as well. The quick balls didn't look great at all. He tried to get into a DNA coil, and it got too crisscross. Myself, I tried the Identity a couple times in team as well as in singles. Again, a little too crisscross. Really don't need balls that quick. So if you're gonna bring a big Pearl cleaner asymmetric ball, I think the Origin's the one because it has the strongest cover. It'll blend out the best. But that is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I was pleasantly surprised at how much interest these videos had, and I am more than happy to make them for you, just to try and educate you guys, or at least give you guys my opinion so you can figure out whether I'm an idiot or if I'm somebody that you can relate to. But let me know if you guys have any other Arsenal requests, if you guys want me to do this again with any other kind of semi-big event that I might be going to, that you guys might be going to as well, other than Open Championships. I don't know what that would be, but leave the suggestions down in the comment below. I will be more than happy to do those for you. But as always, guys, if you guys like the jersey, this is not an EFX jersey. This is actually just one straight off the Storm website. So you can go to the Storm website and get one of these. It's a new era shirt. It's like a baseball shirt almost. But it's pretty cool. But as you guys know, EFX.co, link is down in the description below, has the link to all of our awesome jerseys. Use code MITA or CHUI for 10% off. Helps you, helps us. And as always, guys, if any of these balls interest you, TV Bowling Supply, that link is also down in the description below, tvbowlingsupply.com. You can order it and it'll show up straight to your house in just a few days. But that's it. Thank you guys again. I've enjoyed this series. I hope you guys have as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.